The soundtrack to this week's adventure is the skirl of the pipes and the beat of the drums. Let's see how much Scottishness we can handle as we head to Bute for the Highland Games. But we're not just going across to enjoy the sights and soak up the tartan-clad ambience. Oh no, tomorrow we compete in the Highland Games 10k road race. Somebody does not have their harness on. I've got a growth under my armpit. Once again, the tense excitement of do we get on this boat or do we have to wait a whole 20 minutes for the next one? It seems we spend half our life these days going across the Firth of Clyde to do runs. It seems we spend half our life these days going across the Firth of Clyde to do runs. It wasn't that long ago that we were going to Combray for the Combray 10 mile, and now we're going to Bute for the Highland Games and the Highland Games 10k. And it's a bit cold and windy out here, which is why Bex and De Niro are still in the van over there. And there's the Argyll going away over to the other side, and hopefully the Bute is coming back this way. I'm guessing the two boats are called Argyll and Bute, but I don't actually know. In days before people having cars, this is where you would have arrived to get the ferry across the Rothsay. This is Wemyss Bay's excellent Victorian railway station, which as you can see is quite impressive. At least while we're waiting for the boat, De Niro can have his dinner, so he's quite happy. He'll now sleep for the rest of the day. Bex was going to sit in the van till I told her there's a cafe here and she'd get a cup of coffee, and suddenly she's out the van like a shot. Emergency signal consisting of 7 or more shot blasts followed by one. So with one last look at Wemyss Bay, we are off to Rothsay. Yay! We do really like these boats. They're always a great way to get about, and you see things that you wouldn't otherwise see, like that little lighthouse over there. And obviously the facilities come in handy. You can get a cup of coffee, and if you forget to buy your family a present, there's a wee souvenir shop, so you can get them a bottle of Bute gin, or you can get them a little stuffed sea lion. There's always a little stuffed seal, we're never exactly sure why. It's one of those things that gift shops have got to have.
Thank you for travelling with us today, and have a safe onward journey.
It's the morning after the night before, and the weather has turned. It battered down with rain all night last night, but we are at Mount Stuart and we're going to do the park run, and then we're going to show you the house, which is quite impressive. That's a silly question. The answer obviously is not to run, but unfortunately Bex insists that we run. And it's almost start time, so we'll see you guys in about half an hour when we go and look at the house over there that you now can't see behind the trees, which completely ruined that shot. You can't see it at all, no. Oh, and it's a very nice little courtyard. And I don't know if you can see it, but it's been raining, but up there's a big bright ball of something appearing in the sky. Hopefully that'll be the sun putting in an appearance. Oh, I am definitely having one of those. During the First World War, Mount Stuart was used as a hospital, and that's Lady Bute who trained as a nurse so she could do a bit. But the bit that makes you cringe is lots of surgeries, amputations, platings, and the removal of 2 testicles. I wonder if they were from the same man. So that's the park run done, and the rain has started. De Niro is modelling his winter coat, although it's not actually winter. Bex and De Niro out for a swim.
Welcome to Scotland in the summertime.
Scotland on a shoestring in the summer.
In the summer. This is the summer, honestly.
It's a bit, I said earlier there was some blue sky and sunshine on the way. I may have lied. That's not a very impressive house, I think you'll agree, but what do you think of that one? This is Mount Stuart, the home of the Marquis of Bute, who owns most of this island. This building actually only dates back just over 100 years, because the one that was here before burnt down. So when the Marquis of Bute said, I want my house rebuilt, but I want it done in a grand Gothic style, that is exactly what he got. This is the back of the rock gardens, and the reason I'm coming up here in the pouring rain is to look for a camel. Yeah, a camel. Honest, I'm looking for a camel. There he is, over there. That is a camel carrying spice. Let's go for a closer look. According to a sign that I just read down there, this is actually the balustrade from a house, and it was carved in, as you'll see shortly, 1799. So there's an old stone camel, which is it's actually quite smart. I love the wee look on his face, and I think it was done by somebody who didn't really know what a camel looked like. That package on the camel's back is spices, and spice obviously were a big part of trade. There was lots of money made, and there's lots of money came through this part of the world. There were fortunes made left, right and centre, and very likely fortunes lost just as quickly. But that does explain why there's so many really nice houses on this island, because people that had mills and factories and shipyards in Glasgow would live somewhere nicer, like the Isle of Bute. It is a very imposing building, and you can see why the rock garden was built here when the house was rebuilt in the 1800s, because you can come up here for a wee walk with your rich friends and your rich family and look at your big rich house. I'm not sure if you need a ticket to get into the rock garden. Some of this place you need a ticket for, and I came back down the hill and there's two girls with walkie-talkies at the bottom standing looking at the house, so I literally, it was like tiptoe, sneak past and no, not been in the rock garden, just been out for a walk.
Just leave us two standing in the rain while you go and explore the rock garden.
Yeah, because you couldn't have stood under that doorway there, obviously, that big thing.
Well, we did, but De Niro was trying to get in the big house.
De Niro likes an explorer. Look at his face, he's all wet.
He likes visiting.
He likes visiting. You can just imagine the architect when he got the commission for this building. It's like, yes, your Marquis ship, how many pointy bits would you like on the top of your building? I'd like all the pointy bits, please. Make it all very pointy. Yes sir, that'll be lots of money. That's fine, I can afford it. Virtually every imaginable architectural element, and try saying that more than once, is sort of bunged into one building. And the good news is, the rain stopped again, but it'll start again because this is Scotland in the summertime. Oh, De Niro is saying hello to more camels. These are obviously based on the statue that we just looked at, but that is camels carrying spice. But these ones look a bit more like camels. That one up there just looks big and fluffy. There's a reason you don't get other people to take photographs for you, because there's a really impressive column there. And just at the top of that road, just up there, they had the sign for the park run set up, so if you get the Mount Stuart logo with a column in the background, it'll be a really nice picture. And this guy said, I'll take that picture for you, I'll take that picture for you. It's like, thanks very much. And this is what he got us. Yeah, spot the column, thanks mate. I don't know who's enjoying that more, Bex or De Niro, but I can guess. It's called Augusta's Column, and it was originally from Luton Hoo House in Bedfordshire down in England, which is one of the 3rd Earl of Bute's houses, because obviously he had loads. It was put up when she died in 1772, and up there she is standing looking out to sea. Hello, missus. It was moved here in 1872 because the Marquis of Bute wanted it up here. And if you're wondering how I know all that wonderful information, I am reading it from that sign. And there's a door on the side of that tree. I wonder what sort of magical fairy creature lives behind that. Knock knock! Ta-da! It's a magical fairy Bex. Further epic in-depth botany. That is a massive purple one, and that is a quite nice fancy white one. And these ones are technically referred to as like snowdrops, but not snowdrops. Even the little cottages that were for the estate staff are quite nice. I mean, that is not a bad place to live, especially when you've got a nice view of some lawns and some flowers and some woodland. Yeah, you haven't lived until you've heard 5 different pipe bands playing 5 different tunes at the same time. If you like Highland music, it's even then, it's pushing it a bit.
Quite noisy.
It's quite noisy. 5 pipe bands playing 5 different tunes. Bute Highland Games competitors, that's us, we are competitors. The Highland Games has some events you probably recognise, like this girl here doing the shot put. But there's also the hammer and the wire hammer, which you might recognise, and tossing the caber, which you probably won't.
Oh, that's an improvement. That's an improvement, Harry, that's for sure.
We've definitely never seen quite so many pipe bands in one place. This is absolute tartan and bagpipe overload. It's getting serious for the pipe bands. This is them going into the arena to be judged. So there's a competition and the best pipe band win the prize. How they judge the best pipe band, I have no idea. It must be like how well synchronised they are and how in time they are, and lots of criteria that I'm sure the judges are very familiar with, but I don't have a clue, as per normal. You can take the mickey out of pipe music, and I know we do, but it does bring a lump to your throat.
Ladies and gentlemen, the band,
And she is waiting for them.
approaching the competition now, is the band from Moore, Clyde, Pipes and Drums, under the direction of Pipe Major Gordon McDermott, and they are wearing the...
Don't know who she is, but she's obviously important. That girl was one of the busiest people that we saw working all day, because she greeted all the pipe bands on and introduced them to, I guess, the head judge. She sort of said, "Are you ready to go? 1, 2, 3, go!" Good luck, guys. One of the coolest things about Highland Games is they were into gender equality long before gender equality was a thing. If you're a boy that wants to do the Highland dancing, you can do the Highland dancing. If you're a girl that wants to throw the hammer, you can throw the hammer. It's great. These people are all very competitive, but all brilliant at what they do, and we are having a great time. The thing that gets me about this is Bute Highland Games. It's not one of the biggest ones, but there's competitors here from Germany, from Canada, from America, from Scotland and England, obviously. And last night on the boat there were Highland Dancers from Australia, so people take this very seriously. You can see why. It's quite a lot of fun and very competitive. I'm surprised how intense it is. It's a proper competition. I do wonder if we've bitten off more than we can chew, because we've signed up for the 10k road race here. We didn't realise it was quite such a professional setup with some very fast athletes, so somewhere at the back there'll be me and Bex. Well, it's almost 0 hour, it's time for the 10k. On the bright side, at least it's not 10 miles.
And it's not raining.
And it's not raining at the moment. We are competitors on the showground.
Ooh, a bit scary.
How long till we get busted for not actually being competitive?
We're competitors.
Yeah, we're competitors. It says so on our wristbands. Probably not quite as competitive as that crowd in front of us. And this is the only view of them we're going to have from the back. That was, I think, the cuddling competition. I'm not really sure, barefoot and kilts. We did a bit of research after the event, and this is actually called backhold wrestling, which is common in the Scottish Islands and the north of England, and some of the guys doing it are quite ferocious. I certainly wouldn't call it a cuddling competition to their face. We totally missed the start, so we are literally right at the back. Oh, thanks. I don't think we've ever had quite that much support at the start of a race with those people cheering. This must be what it's like if you're a proper athlete. That's Rothsey Castle over there, which is quite impressive. And that's Bex, who's quite impressive. Oh. And this is the downhill bit, that's also quite impressive.
Watch the cones.
But unfortunately it doesn't last.
Watch out for the cones.
Watch out for the cones. That is almost 2 down and 8 to go. Thanks, guys. Oh, that looks much more fun than running. But it is quite a nice view. Number 3. And another pair of people out kayaking. And we're not even at 4k yet. And there's the man out in front. Well done! Good running. And increasingly out of puff. That is 4k done. I'd say almost halfway, but it's quite a long way from halfway. I'm running out of things to say. I'm running out of breath with which to say them, but there's a pretty view. Sorry.
Good job, good job. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
Cheers, guys. Yeah, we've skipped a few, but there's 9. Rothsey Castle again. I've stopped for a walk. I am absolutely exhausted. There's Bex, off doing fast. And you guys are my witness. She said she'd never leave me, and she did. Okay, it was on a big hill, but still.
Well, sorry.
We just ran in blue skies and sunshine, and 5 minutes later it's down. I'm really glad I'm not in a pipe band, it'll be a bit wet. Well, we finished our race, we got our medal, and we got back to Mabel, and look at the weather. If we'd still been running in that weather, we would have been brook it.
Is that time for our word of the day?
Well, we told you that 10 minutes later it would change, and it's now blue skies and sunshine. And I promised you there was only one day today could get more Scottish, and we're about to do that. This is going to be the most Scottish end to the most Scottish day. We've had Scottish history, Scottish pipe bands, Scottish country dancing, and now the pièce de résistance, the peak of our culinary excellence. And there it is, a typically Scottish little boutique and artisan vendor of things that are mostly deep fried, to be honest. So here it is, like a child wrapped in swaddling clothes. This package contains the pinnacle of Scottish culinary excellence. In this package there is haggis that's been deep fried and covered in vinegar, and also chips, obviously, because we're Scottish. Or if you're American, fries. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention it's covered in batter. And the only thing more traditionally Scottish than a deep fried haggis and chips is the face that Bex makes when I say I quite fancy a deep fried haggis and chips. Just what about your face of revulsion that you usually use?
That one.
That's the one. There you are, that is my gastronomic delight. And De Niro would quite like some of it if he can. Can I have some of that please, says De Niro.
He's not running 10k.
No, it's mine. You have not run 10k and earned it. Oh, go on, Dad, give me some, Dad. Come on, Dad, I'd like some, please, please. As you can imagine, these little islands have a sort of friendly rivalry. So Cumbria, which is over there somewhere, has got its Croc Rock that you saw in our Cumbria video, our Great Wheat Island video. Bute is not to be outdone. Bute has got that, which is, yeah, not entirely sure. I think it might be a snake's head, or maybe it's a turtle, maybe it's a turtle's head, I'm not sure. But anyway, that is Bute's answer to Crocodile Rock, and it is somewhat less impressive. If you'd like a tourist attraction with a difference, this is Bute's famous Victorian toilets, which are actually amazing inside, but I am not about to go and try filming inside the toilets for obvious reasons. We're not that sort of channel. So if you want a toilet and a shower and a nice Victorian ambience, then this is definitely the place to come. Oh, but as there's nobody about. So this is the inside of Bute's beautifully restored, see what I did there, Victorian toilets, and they are, to be fair, quite impressive. But ladies, this is a view you've probably never seen. You can imagine what those things are for. So that's the end of our day on Bute, and we're celebrating in shoestring style. Instead of going somewhere posh for our dinner, we are sitting in a sort of shelter thing they've got on the prom here, with a packet of Pringles and some cans of cider, and of course De Niro. And if that doesn't sound very exciting, look at the view we've got. That'll do for us. Come on, Bex, pose. Pout, pout, pout. Yeah, she's not much of a pouter.
That's my best pout, that was.
He's like, nope.
Gallows. Come on.
We're trying to get De Niro to put his head through the hole and look cute, and De Niro is having none of it.
Absolutely won't move.
He's just rooted himself
like this,
to the floor.
Like this.
We agree that those are sheep, but we can't agree on what those are. Haggis. We think they might be a herd of haggai. We haven't actually shown you a great deal of the town of Rothesay, but that's the sort of seafront street there. There are so many really big houses in Rothesay, and I don't just mean like reasonably sized, I mean massive mansion houses all side by side. This place must have had so much money coming through it. If you're wondering where the Highlands start and the lowlands of Scotland stop, well, it's exactly here. This is a Highland boundary fault, which is a geological thing. So De Niro is half in the Highlands and half in the lowlands. He is a whatever it is, bug. That's optimistic. There is the open top sightseeing bus. Yeah, you get dry for about 5 minutes before the rain comes on. So there's the nice sign that we saw last night that De Niro wouldn't play with, and behind it is the Winter Gardens. All these British seaside towns have one of these. Usually they've got a pier as well. Bute doesn't have a pier, but it does have a very nice Winter Gardens. There's also none of the big supermarkets or the big chains that you get back on the mainland. It's all little private shops and little boutiques. It's quite nice. As it was a soggy Sunday morning and we had nowhere else to be, I decided to set off in search of a cafe that I remembered from the last time I was on the island a good few years ago. So hopefully it's still there, hopefully it's serving breakfast and it has the coffee machine turned on. I'd just like to say a thank you to everybody who supports us on Patreon, because you are absolutely essential to this part of the video, because it's quite windy and hopefully you guys watching this can't hear the wind. That's because of our wonderful new microphone that we just bought. It's a fluffy thing that apparently stops the wind noise, so we'll see how that does. Well, the good news is Bex is not going to divorce me, because the cafe that I remembered from when I was here about 10-15 years ago is still here.
Yay.
And it's funny how as soon as you drive around a corner you suddenly remember things like, this is it, this is exactly the place I was looking for. So go me and my dodgy old age memory.
Stop talking, it's time for breakfast.
Breakfast time. We are waiting to be seated. There's plenty of seats, so hopefully you don't have to book. This one here or the one in the corner? After last night's deep fried haggis, I wanted something a bit healthier this morning, but then I saw the menu and decided, nope, I don't actually want something a bit healthier at all. I want one of these. After breakfast, we headed down the coast a little bit to find somewhere for a wee sit down, and De Niro decided he wanted to go running up and down the road. Not his smartest move, but fortunately there was no traffic. This is Bex practising extreme outdoor crochet. It's amazing the wool hasn't all blown, oh it has largely blown away. This is a traffic jam on Bute. Go girls! Look at the sheepdogs working them, one down there making sure they don't go on the beach and the other one over there. Brilliant. All your friends have gone that way. You're going the wrong way, sheepy, sheepy, sheep, sheep. And we are back down at the ferry port at the end of our little trip to Bute. We're just waiting for our boat and then we'll be heading back to the mainland and then back to sunny Methil. Yay. Oh, there's some RNLI thing going on. That's the Royal National Lifeboat Institution, which is a charity that puts lifeboats all the way around the coast of the UK. They don't get any government funding, it's all charitable, but they do amazing work, obviously saving lives at sea. A surprise guest on this visit was the paddle steamer Waverley, which you can see here on the left. And as it headed for the horizon, it passed the MV Argyll on the way in, and the Argyll was our ferry off Bute and back to the mainland. It always amazes me how many vehicles they can fit onto these ferries, because you think, that must be full by now, and then they go and they squeeze in one of those, and there's all that space down there still left. Don't buy a Ford Mustang, the alarms on them are rubbish. It is really quite windy. This fluffy microphone is hopefully doing the business. So we are on the Argyll, that is the Bute, and behind me is Bute. And with a last look at Rothsay, I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching this episode of Scotland on a Shoestring, and if you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week for more. It's a bit less windy in here than it is out there. Oh bless, what a wee poppet.